whack them. Welcome to Minister's Message and welcome to the Lambing Shed here in Hilton. It's been a year since we were here last almost, and I was standing amongst the lambs. Well, I thought I would come for a before, so before all the lambing starts, and then in a few weeks I'll return for an after, so you can see some of the lambs here in the villages. It's a year since the global pandemic was announced. It's been a year of difficulty. It's been a year of tragedy for so many. But we continue to follow the rules and the regulations, but ultimately we continue to put our trust in the Lord our God. Here on Minister Message, we have been going through different themes this year, and in this month we've been doing the theme of daily devotions. We met young Abigail Innes from Dingwall Free Church last week, and this week I'm really delighted to cross the Minch and introduce you to two of my friends who are parents to two young boys, and they honestly tell us how it is for them as they raise their young boys and spend time in the Lord's Word, how they do their daily devotions. This is Ali and Lisa Maclean from Back Free Church.
Hi, my name's Lisa, and this is my husband Ali, and we're grateful to be asked to spend a few moments speaking to you today, and we're just going to speak a little bit about our experience during lockdown and all the changes and restrictions over the past year or so. We realise that things have changed for everyone, and everybody's routines are well and truly out the window and ever changing. And this can make it quite difficult, where perhaps previously we had our routines and we had our ways for our day and how we engaged with the Lord on a daily basis. For me, this was very much about spending time on my daily commute. When I woke up in the morning, I would spend a little time with God before driving 20 odd miles to my office, and I would use that time to think about my day and spend time praying to God for the day ahead. And I also had that commute on the way back. But when restrictions were brought in, obviously I was working from home, and as the months have gone on, I've found that I'm not only working from home, but I'm homeschooling as well. So it can be very difficult to find some sort of routine. And I think that's why I've learned over the past year that whilst it's good to have routine, it's good to have habit, it's also important to not be prescriptive about how we engage with the Lord and spend time with Him. I have found that what's been really helpful for me is to not have a set agenda for the day and try and just be more relaxed about how things go, but ensure that I set time aside in some way. And for me, that has very much been about evening walks and using podcasts and things that I wouldn't really have considered before. But these have certainly helped me come to the cross on a daily basis, which I know is so important. And I know that your routine is very different as well, Ali.
Yeah, well, I can relate to the bit about the daily commute. Mine's shorter than Lisa's was, but I can relate to that. And I've carried on working over this period, and I use every morning as probably my only space where there is no other noise. We're in a house with two children and it's busy. And when we think of God's word and it's telling us to go into that secret place, there's very few quiet secret places in this household with two young children. And so the daily commute to work is really where I find that I can focus, and my shift patterns have changed recently as well. I also find just going out for a walk is another place where my head clears and I can focus on prayer, because I definitely feel that prayer is one of these things that you have to have no distractions at all, otherwise you'll be quickly taken off course. And so having no noise about is crucial for for me in that prayer time, and I know everybody finds their own secret place for that, and that's great. In terms of sort of daily devotions, I'm maybe a wee bit more rigid than Lisa is. I will follow. I just follow through the Bible, not putting myself under pressure to be doing a certain number of chapters or a certain number of verses in a day. I'm just following it through chronologically. Well, not chronologically, but in the order of the Bible, and just trying to glean anything that I can hold on to for the day. Just even a verse or whatever the theme is that I'm reading, and try and hold on to that for the day, and pray around that. So nothing fancy, just that's real life for us, I'm afraid.
It's been important though, hasn't it, to remain engaged with our fellowship as well. We've undertaken a study with Legionnaire Ministries, and we're about to start on a new one online. So I think that as well has really helped to have some kind of study group, and online works really well for us because we have got 2 young boys, and I think all of these things together, I think it's finding lots of different ways and be willing to sort of adapt and change as the world around us is adapting and changing and not leaving us with much time. So it's important to really carve out that time, and however that looks is going to be different to each person, I guess.
Yeah, I think we both understand that if we aren't in that daily relationship with the Lord, then it's we're starting to drift in, and so we have to have that element of discipline and desire also to be in that relationship on a daily basis, and undoubtedly blessing comes from that. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed, I agree. It is good when you're married. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks so much to Ali and Lisa for that video on daily devotions. Well, let's look ahead to our services here at Tain and Fern Free Church. And of course, this week, the announcement came from the government that we are able to reopen our church buildings. So from the 28th of March, our buildings in Tain and here in Hilton will be open again for us to meet together and worship. But our services on our YouTube channel will continue, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. And this Sunday morning, I'll be preaching as we've finished our series in Exodus, A Way Out. This first half of that series, we'll return to it in due course. But this Sunday morning, I'll be preaching from Genesis chapter 3 and verse 20. There, Adam, he names his wife Eve, the mother of all the living. And here I am surrounded by all these expectant mothers. And being here in the shed with all of these sheep, it gives us hope that life is going to come. That soon, in a few weeks, even in a few days, that this shed will be full of not only the sheep, but also the lambs. Adam named his wife Eve because Eve means life, life giver, mother. He heard the sound of grace, the sound of hope in the midst of the judgment that God had pronounced on them. Well, come on Sunday morning and hear about that hope, hear about the grace and the life that you can have for yourself. And on Sunday night, Alistair's going to take us to Song of Solomon, chapter 5, with the sermon title, Comfortable but Complacent. Well, do join us on our YouTube channel, 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. I do hope you have a good weekend, and may the Lord be with you. Just a wee note to say thank you to Peter, who was my cameraman today. I could not have done it without him. I would have probably been trampled on by a sheep or two. But anyway, thank you to Peter. Thank you to Rod for being on the farm. We look forward to being back there in a few weeks But also just to say there'll be no minister's message next Friday, as I hope to take a little break next week. A scream break, maybe climb a hill or two, get some more running training under my belt, but to come back refreshed in the Lord and to be with you once again here on Minister's Message. Have a good weekend. May the Lord be with you. You whack them.